Good evening everyone and welcome to TT_Project Cars. It is Season 3, Round 5 here for Renault Roulette at the Autodromo Nacional Monza. We are using the Grand Prix layout of course round here tonight. Of course the traditional F1 layout. Some of these guys that are competing here tonight. We have got a couple of new drivers in. I'll come on to them in due course. But in the meantime, I'm James Head 14. I'll be your solo commentator here tonight for the action that is going to unfold out on track. 15 minutes worth of racing going to unfold first because this is the Renault Roulette, and then we'll move swiftly on to the Renault RS01s, which will follow with 2 races after that. And for Renault Roulette this week we are going to be using the Alpine A442B, which is a car produced in 1978, has a top speed of 230 mile an hour, 0 to 104.2 seconds and 520 brake horsepower under the bonnet, and I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how they cope, especially with the trials and tribulations of Monza. And it does look like we are using the layout with the chicanes. Of course, if people run on GT Sport as well, they'll know that the layouts are different there. They can use either the chicane layout or the no chicane layout on GT Sport. Of course, this is Project Cars 2. And with the gearbox, it is a V6 engine here for tonight, and it is a 5-speed gearbox as well, so you'll only see the cars getting up to 5 gears. And looking at tonight's lineup, we have got a very nice lineup here tonight. Of course, Alan Kerr, our lobby host, is as in per usual. Current championship leader in the meantime is Andy on 85 points here in the Renault Roulette. Of course, we had the Clio Cups last week, ran the Algar. It was fantastic race to see that. Even with the lack of attendance, it's good to see a better attendance here tonight. Andy out on top though with 85 points, followed by Alan Kay now jumping up to second after Mummy Papa's he didn't turn up last week, so he's now in second in the championship on 68 points. Mummy Papa and Frank tied in for third on 64 points. Both of them, I don't think, not attending. I think Frank is on holiday, and we wish him well in his holiday. And I don't know where Mummy Papa is. Hopefully we can get him in soon though. Sean in 5th on 59 points, followed by reigning champion Crusher Bro on 51 points in 6th. Then there's a bit of a gap down to Jesse, who is on 20 points in 7th. Taze Leroy in 8th on 16. This is War in 9th on 15, and Theo Daly rounding off the top 10 on 11 points. And as I said, there is new drivers here tonight for Project Cars. We have done a bit of recruitment over the last week or so. Andy right well in behind the scenes there. It is fantastic to see some new drivers. And of course, we've got Jack Stewardson. Very unfamiliar name to my reckoning. If somebody could give me any details on who he is, that'll be a lot helpful for me tonight in commentary. And of course, we have got Charlie HH. And Charlie, of course, is a member of the TTL community, of course, on F1, and that is what we're most famous for here in TTG Esports, of course. But Charlie going to be running here tonight. Yep, Charlie going to be running here tonight. Fantastic to have him in. And of course, we've got the returning faces of Alan Kay, Crusher Bro, Theo Daly, Taze Leroy, Andy and Sean. So 6 returning faces, 2 new drivers. Better spice up the championship, I think, here tonight in the Renault Roulette. And of course, we have got about an hour and a half's action for you here tonight. And we will be splitting this off into 2 streams. So we've got the Renault Roulette first. Then there'll be a little bit of a gap, about 2-minute gap before I set up the next stream, which will be the Renault RS01s. And that is going to be similar sort of layout, but only with qualifying in, and that'll be a 10-minute qualifying session with a 15-minute race, and then a random grid for the second race with a 15-minute grid for that. And of course, if you are unfamiliar with Renault Roulette, we have got 15 minutes worth of action, and I'm very pleased to say, after round 1's absolute debacle with the thunderstorms and everything, it's dry once again. We seem to be getting a lot of good dry weather currently here in TT_Project Cars. Of course, it is Season 3. We are about to start. I'm going to check your comments now. Bear with me while I do this. Let me have a look at some of the comments section. Let's have a look. Season 2 runner-up, says Jack Stewardson. Never seen you before, but welcome anyways. I haven't commentated on you before, so it's a new experience for me. How fast is Charlie? It remains to be seen. Hopefully we'll get a good indication of how his pace is, especially in these cars, which are nearly, well, over 40 years old, 41 years old to be exact. This was released in 1978, the Alpines. And looking at all the other comments, hello to Frank, hello to Crusher Bro as well, tuning into the session. If you are new to TTTV, like, comment and subscribe for more content that will come on the channel. In the meantime, it's the Autodromo Nacional Monza, of course, most famous corners on this track. We've got the two Lesmos there in Sector 2, the Ascari Chicane, Parabolica, and we've also got Curva Grande at Turn 3. And I know pretty much my way around this track. You'll see some of the corner names that I'll pick up on during the course of this commentary. It is light clouds, 3.59 mile in length, with 11 turns for the drivers to take care of here tonight. And I think with these cars, they could be quite light to handle. I think these cars could be quite light to handle, and it remains to be seen how these guys are going to cope in terms of how they are turning into the corners, especially at Ascari Chicane. If you get caught on the curb, you might just spin the back end. We've seen it plenty of times in Formula 1 on this channel, and it remains to be seen. And let's run you through then, as I will get my traditional speedo and map up so you can see what is going on. So Taze Leroy starts out on pole position with Crusher Bro in second. Theo Daly is in third with Charlie in fourth. Then it's Jack Stewartson running up in Season 2 in fifth with Sean in sixth. Andy, the current championship leader, in 7th, and Alan Kay in 8th position. Of course, only 8 drivers here tonight, but a much better attendance compared to last week, so thank you everyone who has turned out here tonight. And we should be getting going very, very soonish indeed. And as soon as I said that, perfect timing that is for a commentator. We're now sinking into the race. The light sequence is about to come on for Renault Roulette. And it is lights down, away we go. Taze Leroy gets a very good start off the line. Very good start in behind though from Theo Daly. Bit of a bog down from the start. I'm not sure if we've had contact in the meantime. Very difficult to handle for Theo Daly right in the background there. But Taze Leroy and that is Crusher Bro going down the inside into turn 1. Looking very nice there and gets the move done. And of course, with the engines mounted on the rear in the middle of the car, it's very difficult to see, and they look quite hard to handle here. I've never experienced these cars before in Project Cars, so it remains to be seen how these drivers cope out on track. But it is Crusher Bro who leads through Curva Grande and then into the second chicane. Is Taze Leroy going to go for a diving move down the inside? Crusher Bro doesn't get the car stopped, has to go over the sleeping policeman. He will have to let Taze Leroy through, and Taze Leroy now into the P1, and Jack Stewartson up to P2 as well. There's been a bit of contact in the background, I think, and might be Theo Daly and Charlie possibly having to come together. Goodness me, getting all caught on the grass there. Taze Leroy, very good recovery, and it is 3 wide out of Lesmo 2 as Jack Stewartson now takes the lead of the race as they run down towards the end of Sector 2 here. It is of course the Ascari Chicane that is up next. Crusher Bro is now into second. Taze Leroy dropping down to third after that slight crash on the curb at the second Lesmos. We've got 3 wide going into Ascari, and that's never going to work. Taze Leroy takes the bravery around the outside onto the gravel. This is quite something to watch, guys. Crusher Bro there leads the way, and we're going to have 3 wide in the background, I think, with, that is Sean up to second. Great start from him. Taze Leroy in third, Jack Stewartson in fourth. Andy is up to fifth with Theo Daly, Alan Kay and Charlie right down the back of the field. There was in fact Alan Kay and Charlie who I think had that contact off the second chicane within the first sector. But at the end of lap 1, pretty much a minute and 50 seconds already gone here, and it is Crusher Bro who leads the way, but he's coming under sustained attack now from Sean in behind. Very, very weird livery that is. Look at how fast they're going though, down into the braking zone of turns 1 and 2, and I think we're going to have a complete overbreak there by Jack Stewartson, never going to break the corner. Thought he was going to run into the back of Sean at one point there, but he takes avoiding action through the runoff area, I do believe, and Crusher Bro still leads the way as a result. 4/10 of a second, now 3/10, just coming down slightly as they go through Curva Grande for the second time. Jack Stewartson still in third after that slight mistake going into turn 1, that slight outbreak. Taze Leroy very much struggling with this car early on. Andy's up to fifth. Charlie is into the pits, must have picked up damage on that first lap, and of course the first sector in F1, if you are an F1 fan, they are different. Oh, as we've got a spinner in the background, Jack Stewartson has been in contact with Andy there, parked on the inside of the apex, on the racing line pretty much there, through as Theo Daly has also spun it through into the first Lesmo. We've got action in front though. Crusher Bro getting closed down by Sean. Is Sean going to try and go all the way around the outside here at Ascari? It'll be a brave move if he tries to pull this off. Not quite. And it's still Crusherbro who leads the way. But you can really see that back end now kicking out on these cars. It is very difficult to handle for some of these cars out on track. And it looks like Sean has got the run here on Crusherbros. They come down towards Parabolica, of course, reaching 185 mile an hour under the braking zone for the leader there, Crusherbro. So he comes through Parabolica now. Of course, F1 cars can reach about 200 mile an hour. These are 1978 Alpines, Renault Alpines. So it is going to be very intriguing to see what these guys can do down the straight. I think it's going to be about 190, 195 mile an hour possibly down the straight. But at the end of lap 2, it's Crusherbro who leads the way with Sean in second. Tes Leroy in third with Jack Stewardson in fourth. After that contact with Andy being parked on the inside of the apex there at Lesmo 1, of course. Andy is in 5th as a result of that. We've got Alan Kay now into 6th. Theo is now down to 7th and Charlie is in 8th place. About a minute behind, but he's still going round. He hasn't been lapped yet, which is a good sign. Of course, Charlie's first race, pretty much like a baptism of fire, possibly. But, of course, the further he goes on, the more time he'll get used to the cars and everything like that. As we've got a spinner in the background, that was Alan Kay. I think might have just caught the grass there on the AstroTurf on the inside, going down towards turn 1, that was, on the outside line I should say, going through turn 1. So Alan Kay has spun the car round. In the meantime, battle for the lead. It is Crusherbro still hanging off the attentions of Sean. And I'll tell you what, Sean is doing a remarkable job here to try and keep that car even in a straight line coming out of the corners. In the background, Tes Leroy trying to get close to 6.5 seconds off at the minute. But it is the main two, Crusherbro and Sean, looking to gain the upper hand here as they come through Ascari on lap 3. And we're about 5 minutes through here. Oh, Sean has got a bit of a tank slapper on going through Ascari. Very nicely controlled through there, but he has lost pretty much nearly a second there as a result of that little tank slapper that he had. I think Tes Leroy has gone round in the background. It was just caught off camera, but I did see it on the right hand side. Tes Leroy having a spin there at Ascari. He came out just in front of Andy, which is good to see. Everything now just spreading itself out, and of course if you are a first time viewer to TTTV and you haven't experienced this before, it is the Renault Roulette, and we are in for a right treat here tonight as Crusherbro sets the new fastest lap of the race with a 44.5. 140 is definitely on the cards here. The Renault RSs will be a little bit slower compared to the Alpines around here. It is normally the case that we have a slower car for the Renault Roulette compared to a quicker car like we do have this week. Of course, a very historic car, this 1978 Renault Alpine. They come through Curva Grande once again. It is still Crusherbro who leads the way from Sean in second. Jack Stewardson is in third, with Tes Leroy in fourth. Andy in fifth, getting closer, coming through turns 1 and 2 there. Andy, the Scotsman, trying to hunt him down, of course. Current championship leader on 85 points, and Andy be looking to try and close in on Tes Leroy, who did make a very nice little debut last week, of course. If you didn't tune into the action, go and watch it back after this. And Tes Leroy picking up 16 points on his first week, which was fantastic to see. I think he's actually attended the last 2 weeks, I might be wrong. Somebody correct me in the comment section if I have got that wrong. But Andy out in front on 85 points. He is going to be pulling away from Alan Kay. He's down in 7th at the minute. With Theo Daly just ahead of him. In the meantime, very close battle going on. It is Tes Leroy and Andy coming through. Lesmo 1, bit of a spin there. Andy gets caught out on the gravel. Oh, and there's heavy contact. Andy just getting caught on the AstroTurf, running 2 wheels into the gravel, just forcing the car into a bit of a spin. Wrong place at the wrong time, I'm afraid, for Tes Leroy. That was such a shame. That is such a shame that contact's been made there. Nothing could have been done about that. Of course, we'll have a look to see what the stewards are going to say afterwards, as Charlie, I do believe, has just been lapped by the leaders. So Crusherbro comes across the line to start lap 5. We're only going to be getting about 8 or 9 laps around here with these laps as they are. 144 has been set by the leader. He's now 2.8 seconds clear. So Crusherbro, the defending champ from Season 2, now into Season 3, be looking to try and get up there with his results. But at the minute, it is Crusherbro who leads the way. It is Sean in second, Jack Stewardson in third, having a good debut race so far. Theo Daly in fourth now, ahead of Tes Leroy as a resulting of that contact with Andy. And I think he's just about to come into the pits. Yeah, Tes Leroy into the pits. I think he's got suspension damage on the right-hand side, the right front of the car. Andy, I think, has came off relatively unscathed as a result of that. Comes across the line now in 5th. There's Alan Kay running in the background now, getting a position as a result of Tes Leroy coming into the pits in 7th. and Charlie running around in 8th place. And of course, Crusherbull now leading the way, has pulled out another second on Sean at the moment. Of course, Sean, 59 points in the championship standings. Crusherbull on 51, so Crusherbull will be gaining points here as a result of that. I'm not sure how many points he'll be gaining in total, but he will be gaining points as a result, and he could even move ahead possibly of Sean as a result of tonight's race. Come down towards Parabolica once again, as we are more than halfway through here. Of course, if you're just tuning in to the action, if you're a bit late in, it is TTTV. I'm James Head 14, your race commentator here tonight for the Renault Roulette, which is the Renault Alpine 1978, the V6s, 520 brake horsepower here tonight under the bonnet of this car, this historic car, which can reach 230 miles an hour in a straight line if you really try to press that nicely. But coming through turns 1 and 2, the leader, Crusherbull, still out in front. Sean in second, catching the apex very nicely there. Very nice run out there by Sean. Just gains a little bit of time coming towards Curva Grande once again. Jack is in third with Theo Daly in fourth, Andy in fifth. As a result of that contact with Taze Leroy. Unfortunate bit of contact if you are just tuning in and want to see what happened. Just scroll back a little bit on the stream. Alan Kay now in 6th place. There is Taze Leroy just coming through the, I think that's the Lesmo. Yeah, second Lesmo is just coming through. Possibly about to be lapped here by the leaders. Crusherbull is just appearing to camera shot in the background there. So Taze Leroy just hanging on from him at the minute, and he is ahead of Charlie. So Taze Leroy back out in the pits. He's in 7th place at this stage. But it is Crusherbull with 5 minutes to go here in Project Cars, and it is an increasing lead for the Norwegian. 4.6 seconds at the minute, was briefly at 5 seconds. Just gently applying the throttle through there in a second gear. That's the second sector there set by Crusherbull, 37.3. Sean with the fastest, I think that's a bit outdated, but fastest sector 2 from Crusherbull, 37.3. So we could be looking at a new fastest lap. Just gets caught on the grass slightly there on the outside of Parabolica. Comes through nicely, applying max RPM coming out, 10,700 RPM. I had that out there. Crusherbull comes across the line once again to start lap 7. Of course, start-finish line here as he sets a new fastest lap with a 43.9. Let's have a look then at how this race is panning out in terms of the timing. You will see Crusherbull, the 43.9 setting it last time around. Sean in second, Jack Stewartson in third, Theo Daly in fourth, Andy in fifth, Alan Kay in sixth, Taze Leroy in seventh, and Charlie in eighth. I'm very glad to report that there's no penalties as of yet, as Charlie, I think that was Taze Leroy, so he's just getting out of the way of the leader, which was Crusherbull. Ever increasing margin out in front of the Norwegian. Taze Leroy just breaking in behind him. Just has to watch out, doesn't want to get caught in any funny stuff with the leader, but Taze Leroy, good sportsmanship, Sean, is just going to think about his own rest now in 7th place, of course. Crusherbull, just the first resemblance of a mistake there, just overrunning himself through Lesmo 1, now through Lesmo 2, running down towards the Ascari chicane. Of course, this chicane doesn't count as a corner, running down towards the Ascari chicane, so this will be turns 8, 9 and 10, and a bit of front wing there out on track. I'm not sure if that was visible to Crusherbull. Certainly wasn't on my screen. It certainly was on my screen. I'm not sure if it wasn't to Crusherbull. Be interesting to see his thoughts on that. But there was a little bit of front wing off the car, and I imagine it might have been off Charlie or Taze Leroy. Sean has taken avoiding action on Taze Leroy. Did Taze spin out in front of him, I wonder, and has been caught in a little bit of contact? Didn't catch that. Hopefully we'll get something in the comment section about that. But we have got 2 minutes, just ticking under to 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. It is Crusherbull who leads the way from Sean in second, with Jack in third, Theo Daly in fourth, Alan Kay in fifth, Andy in sixth, Taze Leroy in seventh, and Charlie in eighth, and they're spread out like a washing line at the minute. Of course, they're more thinking about their own races, trying to pick up as many points as possible. Of course, we've still got all 8 drivers going round out on track, which is a big bonus, because everyone will be scoring the points, most valued points here in Renault Roulette, and they will be in the championship standings, which is fantastic. But it is Crusherbull who leads the way, and he is still pulling away 11 seconds now as a result of what we saw with Sean first resemblance again of a mistake there from Crusherbull, just losing the back end, dropping the back end through the car. Of course, these look very, very hard to handle. I haven't tried these at all on this game, and I probably don't intend to either. But Crusherbull currently leading the way. There is more damage, and who is that? Who on earth is that? That is Andy. Andy has had a massive crash somewhere out on track. Front wing and rear wing completely blown off the car. It is almost as if the car has been in an explosion or something. That is quite weird. I've never seen a 1978 car should not look like that. A Renault Alpine should not look like that. And that is the worst example I could probably give at this stage. Andy now going to let through Sean, it seems. Sean is just in behind him out on track, and he is going slow as a result. Gets the blue flags, and he's out of the way responsibly, which is good to see. That is Taze Leroy just in behind him as well. And that is for position, in fact. Andy putting off way off track. Taze Leroy is going to get the position now. He's up to P6. We're now on the final lap. Crusherbull just coming across the line. This is the final lap of the race, and he is 11 seconds clear from Sean. It'll be very interesting to see how the lap time shaped up last time around compared to these two. I think Sean was a bit quicker, and he is 5 tenths per second exactly. Sean quicker than Crusherbull last time around, but it is Crusherbull who leads the way. Andy remarkably has got that car into the pits. He'll be sitting there probably to the end of the race, I would imagine, with that amount of damage. But Crusherbull coming through the second chicane once again, through turns 4 and 5, then through turn 6 at the last one. He is 2.5 tenths up in this first sector. Of course, I may remind you, 43.945 is his current personal best, as you see on the timing screens there. Sean in second, 10.4, 10.7, and that gap going up. Sean quicker last time, remember, than Crusherbull, but the timing, the clock has now run out. So we are on the final lap. That's his first sector for Jack Stewardson with a 35.8. Currently in 5th as Charlie is disconnected from the session. Charlie disconnects unfortunately from the session. Had a history in F1 2019. I've seen him disconnect a couple of times when I've commentated on him. Hopefully it's not as a result of that. And we can get him back in for the next race. Crusherbull though coming through. Does that mean Andy will be finishing 7th no matter what happens? Crusherbull then through Parabolica, taking as much exit as possible. Entry as possible into the corner. Goes wide. Just spins through the car nicely. Back end going through there nicely. Sean's made a mistake just in behind as well. Crusherbull then about to come across the line to win here in Renault Roulette. Round 1 goes to him. Fantastic stuff. Crusherbull wins and he gets the new fastest lap, 43.5. Very nice lap there from him. Jack Stewardson chasing down Sean. Sean has made some sort of mistake out on track, I do believe. Possibly at Ascari, I would imagine. But he's going to be coming across the line to finish in 2nd place. Good stuff. 49th lap proves that he made a mistake on that final lap. Jack Stewardson happy. First race of the season. Finishes 3rd. Very nice result from him. We're just waiting on the others now to come across the line. I think Andy is already across the line. So we're just waiting on Theo Daly, Alan Kay and Taze Leroy to come across the line. In fact, Taze Leroy has just came across the line as well. So Theo Daly is up by 6 tenths on his personal best lap at the moment. And Theo Daly about to come through Parabolica for the final time here out on track. 30 flat, by the way, fastest 3rd sector for Crusherbull. Very nice. Just gets caught in the AstroTurf slightly, of course. That sausage curve on the outside. Nearly having a horrific crash with Alex Peroni, remember, Italy last week in Formula 3. Theo Daly about to come across the line in 4th. Good result from him. And Alan Kay is about to come across the line in 5th with a bit of a battered and bruised car on the left-hand side there. So he comes across the line, or he's coming around the final corner. Oh, just loses it slightly out of Parabolica. But he's going to get across the line nicely, and Alan Kay will come across the line to finish in 5th place. Bit of a scraped car there for Alan Kay. But he's across the line anyways, and he finishes 5th. Crusherbull takes it here from Sean in 2nd, Jack Stewardson in 3rd, Theo Daly in 4th, Alan Kay in 5th, Taze Leroy in 6th, and Andy finishing in 7th. Andy finally getting out of the pits, by the way, in the end, after what seemed like an absolute eternity for him, replacing a rear wing and a front wing. Pretty much the rear of his car completely burnt off. Hopefully we'll get some sort of thought from Andy there. In the meantime though, I am going to be ending this stream. We're going to be switching back over to the Renault SL1s. We should be getting that sorted very, very soon indeed. So until then, I've been JamesHead14, and I'll see you in about 2 minutes. Thank you very much for watching, and until a couple of minutes' time, goodbye.